y'all, Melissa here today, and 2019 looks like it's going to be bringing me a new sewing room. We are going to be moving in about a month if everything goes as planned. And so before I move out of this house that we've lived in for 14 years, I thought I would give you a tour of my current sewing studio. Let's take a swing around my studio. This is in a south-facing upstairs bedroom, and when we turned this room into my studio, we painted all the walls white. So it gets great light throughout the day, and because it has those white walls, they all act like reflectors for photos and video. It's also right across the hall from my master bedroom, so I really like the short commute. This is my sewing area. I get a lot of questions about my sewing table. That was a vintage purchase that I painted. You can see it needs paint touch-ups. And I like to keep all my supplies close at hand. Next to my machine in this tray and these drawers, I have needles, threads, scissors, notions, presser feet, marking tools. In the drawers below, I also have elastic, hem tape, as well as my sewing machine manuals for quick reference. On the wall on the other side of my machine, I have a magnetic knife holder I use for scissors and pins. And then above that is my custom-made thread rack. Above my machine, I have my zippers on a cork board. I like to keep my supplies visible because that helps me avoid buying supplies that I already have. To the side of my sewing machine is my serger, then my cover stitch machine, and then my combination machine. I like that these are all nearby so I can just roll my chair over to use them without having to get up. And then the opposite corner is my desk. On the wall above my desk are pattern illustrations. I actually have more of these, but these are the only ones I've framed and hung. Next to my desk, I store office supplies, marking tools, packaging supplies, craft equipment, and camera equipment, all within easy reach. Above the cutting table, I keep notions that I use for cutting and marking and assembling patterns. And then on the bulletin board, I have calendars, as well as some other sewing supplies to keep them out of the way. On the other side of my cutting table, I store my dress form, my iron and ironing board, bolts of fabric, as well as more folded fabric, my cutting mat, and I also store the majority of my buttons on a curtain line on the wall. In the drawers underneath my cutting table, I store notebooks and business cards, as well as my vinyl and embroidery stabilizers. The closet in my studio is the part in most need of decluttering. As you can see, I've got non-sewing as well as sewing things shoved into the closet. These are my extra backup machines, as well as my printer and paper. I've got samples and props, as well as patterns that I'm working on, yarn, and other craft supplies shoved into the various shelves. In contrast, my fabric shelves are organized pretty well. Even the bins have the fabric all on display so that I can easily see what I have and get what I need. So that's my sewing room. That's been my sewing room for the last 6 years, I believe, and it has served me well. It's a little bittersweet to be saying goodbye to this room and this house, but I'm excited to get started with the new studio.